Let us start the second lecture of Indian Contract Act 1872. What we'll be doing first is we will be recapitulating everything that we have done in first lecture. So we will be doing a small revision of what we have done in first lecture. We started with what is contract, which was section 2H, which is agreement enforceable by law. This was contract. Then we understood what is agreement. 2E. What is agreement? It was a promise having consideration for each other. Then, as this is a promise, we even understood what is promise under section 2B. Now understand, if in section this is a small and not capital, you will have to write it down small. You cannot write down 2B in this manner. Okay. What was offer? What was promise? Offer when accepted becomes a promise. So if someone asks me what is contract, I will answer this. Offer when accepted becomes a promise. Promise having consideration for each other will become an agreement. Agreement enforceable by law will become a contract. Then we understood different scenario and different questions, whether it was offer or not, whether it was a promise or not, whether it was agreement or not, whether it was contract or not. Then we did some basic types of contract, and we did 3 types of contract: void, voidable, and valid. What are void? If both the parties cannot enforce the contract into court of law, the contract will be void contract. Means if one party is aggrieved, he want to go into court of law, he cannot go into court of law. If other party becomes aggrieved, if he wants to go into court of law, he cannot go into court of law, then the contract will be void contract. What are voidable contract? One party can go into court of law and another party cannot go into court of law. We have understood this even by example of that ghost house. What are valid contracts? When both the parties can enforce the contract into court of law. So if one party is not performing, another party can go into court of law. If that party is not performing, first party can go into court of law. Those are valid contracts. We even understood meaning of aggrieved party. Two parties, say X and Y. If X performs and Y does not perform, then X will become aggrieved party and Y will be becoming defaulting party. So these words are legal words. You should store in your mind, you should store in your dictionary what is the meaning of aggrieved party. Aggrieved party is a party who has performed this promise, but counterparty has not performed this promise. If it is a valid contract, the party can go into court of law. Which party will normally go into court of law? Aggrieved party will go into court of law. This we have learned in lecture number 1. We are going to lecture number 2, where we will be having a target to create valid contract. See, when two genuine people are coming together, they want to do business, they want to do some social contract, they want to do any type of agreement between themselves. Their objective is to create a valid contract. Why? If one party defaults, another party can move into court of law. So our next point will be this. It is section 10, essential elements of valid contract. Essential elements of valid contract. Understand first the heading. Essential elements of good student. What are essential elements of good student? He is always present in classroom. He always attends the prelims. He scores good marks. He behaves well in the class. Essential elements of good student. They are the characteristic. If they are present, so let me take one example. Say Sohail Ansari. If he is very regular, if he gives each and every prelim, he is behaving good, he gets good marks. If all the conditions are satisfied, he will be termed as good student. So, what is essential elements of valid contract? If you want to make a valid contract, which characteristics should be present in the contract? And let me first write down this characteristics. Offer and acceptance. Second is consideration. Third is legality of object. Fourth is capacity of parties. Fifth is free consent. Sixth is agreement not expressly declared as void. First, try to concentrate. These are and conditions. What is the meaning of and conditions? If these 6 characteristics are present in a contract, then contract will be a valid contract. But sir, if one of them is not present, then what? Then the contract might be void, might be voidable. What are the basic types of contract? Void, voidable and valid. So if a contract want to become a valid contract, all the characteristics should be present. If the contract does not satisfy any of this condition, or any one condition, or any 2 conditions, or all the conditions, it will either become void or it will become voidable, but it will not become valid. So to become a valid contract, and see why I am investing so much time over here, because in next 5 to 6 lectures we are going to understand only the 6 headings. These are different chapters of Indian Contract Act 1872. So first we'll be learning offer, but the heading should be absolutely clear. If these 6 elements are present, sir, what are the 6 elements? We will be discussing. But first try to concentrate. If any one of them is not present, the contract will not become a valid contract. It will either become a void or it will become voidable. Once again, to become valid contract, all these 6 characteristics should be present. Now, to remember this is somewhat easy. These 3 are taken from definition. And so, even I will not be discussing it over here. We have already understood it. Offer when accepted becomes a promise. Having consideration for each other becomes agreement. So to become a contract, there should be offer, there should be acceptance, there should be consideration, both the parties should be having some benefits, and it should be enforceable in court of law. So the contract cannot be an agreement cannot be like this, I will give you 4 crore rupees, you kill Narendra Modi, because the objective is illegal. So there should be legality of object. So we are not discussing it over here. Yes, this will be separate chapters in Indian Contract Act 1872. So at that time we are going to go in full-fledged details. But let me give you a brief idea about this three, which we have not covered. Capacity of parties. Try to concentrate over here. If I am entering into contract with Mr. X and Mr. X age is 4 years, any type of contract with this person is not a valid contract. Why? In India, agreement with minor is void. So you cannot enter into a legal contract with a minor. Who is minor? A person who has not attained 18 years of age. So majority of you in the classroom will be minor. Minor, you cannot enter into contract. So what does law says? Both parties should be capable of entering into contract. See, I might be capable of entering into contract, but Mr. X is not capable of entering into contract. Hence, these are not valid contract. Sir, then which type of contract are this? Void or voidable? That we are going to learn. Again, this is a separate chapter, capacity of parties. What is free consent? Try to concentrate. I, Dawood Ibrahim, I have given him my house. He has given me ₹1 and he has showed me a gun. What is free consent? In Hindi it means दोनों की मर्जी होनी चाहिए, कोई दबाव नहीं होना चाहिए. Free consent. Consent is merji. Free consent means it should be free. It should not be pressurized. Here, Dawood Ibrahim's consent is free. But my consent is not free. I was under a fear. I was under a pressure to enter into this particular contract. This contract will not become valid contract. Sir, then it will become void or voidable. Again, same answer. We are going to learn it. Just wait a while. This all are separate chapters and we are going to go much detail in this all points. Free consent. Agreement not expressly declared as void. Now try to concentrate. There are some agreements which you might think are valid, like gambling agreements. But the law of country says that gambling is bad. So even if there is offer and acceptance, consideration, legality of object, capacity of party, free consent, this type of contracts are declared as void. So this agreement which are expressly declared as void, they are expressly declared as void by law. So law has written, say 1, 2, 3. One of them is gambling. 1, 2, 3. This contract will be void contract. They will not become a valid contract. So they should not be the contract which are expressly declared as void. These are 6 elements, essential elements. If present in the contract, then only contract will become valid contract. Otherwise, contract will be void or voidable. So let me just write down a small flowchart type. If all conditions are satisfied, the contract will be valid contract. If not, What is the meaning of if not? If one of them is not even satisfied, or all of them is not satisfied, or two is not satisfied, or three is not satisfied, then either it will be void or it will be voidable. Sir, whether it will be void or voidable, please understand, when we cover all these points in detail, we will be understanding whether they will be void or they will be voidable. This should be absolutely clear. Section 10 will become base of our learning next 6 sessions, 6 or 7 sessions. So what is section 10? Essential elements of valid contract. What are essential element means? If these elements are satisfied, the contract will be valid. Otherwise, contract will be void or voidable. First 3 taken from definition: offer and acceptance, consideration, legality of object. 3 more are written in section 10, which is a free consent, capacity of party, and express agreement should not be expressly declared as void. We are starting again with section 10, and the first point, which is offer. Our next point will be offer or proposal. If someone asks me, and I'll ask you in all the 6 cases, I'll ask you in all the 6 cases, why we are learning offer or proposal. Why we are learning it? Because it is one of the essential elements of valid contract. So if you want to make a valid contract, there should be a valid offer. Without an offer, there cannot be promise, there cannot be agreement, there cannot be a contract. So there should be valid offer under section 10. And so we are learning what is offer or proposal, and we will be doing it in detail. The section number is 2A. 2A defines offer. So yesterday we did this. Will you go out of the class? I told you it is offer. Agreed. But then also we didn't went into much detail that what is offer and how you can give offer to another person. We will also be learning whether it should be oral, written, or it should be always written, or it can be even something else. So we are understanding section 2A, what is offer. What is offer as per section 2A? When one person signifies another person his willingness to do something, when one person signifies another person his willingness to do something with a view of obtaining consent, is offered. Now in examination you cannot write down in this manner, you'll have to write down straight. But for explanation I have written it in this manner. So first point to understand, when one person signifies another person. See, I am signifying you. Will you go out of the class? I am one person, you are another person. So there should be 2 persons. So offer cannot be given to myself. I cannot give offer to myself. That should be clear. Now, sir, what is this word? Signifies. Signify is to tell you something new. See, one word is written. Signifies basically means offer can be oral. It can be written. Even it can be symbolic. So, oral and written, there was a confusion, but let me clear it. What is the word used? Signifies. And signifies, when it is used in law, it means it can be oral, it can be written, it can be symbolic. Sir, how can be symbolic offer? I'll tell you. You go to ATM. There is a light blinking that you put in the card and withdraw the money. ATM is not speaking anything, ATM is not having in writing anything, but still there is an offer, and that offer is which type of offer? Symbolic. Is a symbolic offer a valid offer? Yes. And if someone asks you why, you should tell them under section 2A, the word used is signified. So it can be oral, it can be written, or it can be symbolic. What is the word used? Signifies. So first statement should be clear. When one person signifies another person. So I may tell you in writing, I may give you in oral, or I may give even symbolic. All right. So just waving this might also be an offer. Is it all right? All right. His willingness to do something. So what is this? Try to concentrate. Will you come to my house for dinner today? I am orally telling you that, that is, I am signifying you what I am signifying, or what I am telling you. My willingness to do something. And what is my willingness? You come to my house for dinner today. So that is my willingness to do something. Of course, you will be doing something, but the willingness is mine. His willingness to do something should be clear. I might tell you anything, my willingness to do something, but with a view of obtaining consent. Means I should be asking you and not ordering you. I should be asking for your consent. Consent in Hindi is marji. So you should be willing to do that with a view of obtaining your consent. So this becomes, come to my house today. I am telling you, when one person signifies another person his willingness to do something. What is my willingness? You come to my house. But still, this is not an offer. Why? I am not asking for your consent. And the definition says it should be with a view of obtaining consent. This is not an offer. Can any student make this as an offer? Draft the statement in such a manner that it becomes offer.
Will you come to my home today?
Yes. Will you come to my house today? And this will become offer. I'm taking, there are some doubts and checks, but I'm taking it. What is offer? When one person signifies another person his willingness to do something with a view of obtaining consent will become offer. Is it all right? We are going for something which are offer, something which are not offer. Will you go out of the class is offer. You go out of the class is order and is not an offer, because the last part is missing, which is with a view of obtaining consent. Let me take some of the doubts from chat and then we'll be going ahead. in essential elements of offer. If in case two teachers offers and student accepts, he goes out and consideration for teacher is there, but if student is punished by principal, then will it be contract? See, Dhruvil, we are right now concentrating only on offer. I can tell you whether it is a valid contract or not after completion of all 6 essential elements. If in case two teacher offers and student accepts, and he goes out and consideration for teacher is there, but if student is punished by that, all right. Sir, is it necessary that if one side there is monetary benefit, another side it should be monetary benefit for the contract? No. Zara, again, this is a question of consideration for each other. But right now, understand the answer is no. It is not compulsory that if there one side there is monetary benefit, another side there should be a monetary benefit. All right, let us go ahead and understand next point regarding offer. We are in the topic of offer, and now we are understanding some rules of offer. So what are the meaning of rules of offer? Try to concentrate. We are just learning some of the important points to make a valid offer. How to make a valid offer, that we are going to learn. All right. So first, rules of offer. There should be two parties. The person making offer, the person receiving offer. That two parties will be termed as offerer. Who is offerer? The person who is making an offer. And offeree, R-E-E. The person who is receiving offer. Will you go out of the class? You are offeree, I am offerer. So there should be two parties compulsory, minimum two parties. There can be more than two parties, but minimum there will be two parties. Number 2 is offer should be capable of creating legal relationship. Offer should be capable of creating legal relationship. See, what does this mean? I am giving you an offer which is not capable of creating legal relationship, and try to understand what does this mean. And now you will understand, will you go out of the class? Will you come to my place for dinner today? Will never become a contract, because they are offer in normal terms, but in legal terms they are not offer. Offer should be capable of creating legal relationship. Try to concentrate over here. I am giving you offer. Will you come to dinner party at Dimple Restaurant today at 8 p.m. A very good restaurant in Bhavnagar Wagawadi Road, Dimple Restaurant. will you come to dinner party today because today is my birthday? I have given you this offer. So let me take a name, and the offer was given to Ayush. I have given this offer to Ayush. Ayush goes to dinner party today. He reaches Dimple restaurant at 8 p.m. I am not available and the party is cancelled. So Ayush feels that let me have dinner at Dimple restaurant. He pays a bill of rupees 200. Now Ayush goes into court of law and says that I should be giving Ayush 200 rupees. Why? There was a valid contract between I and Ayush, because this is a valid offer which who has accepted? Ayush has accepted. Sir, Ayush has not told yes, but we'll be learning in next lecture that Ayush, if going to Dimple restaurant is as good as acceptance. So, will you come to dinner party today? Ayush goes into court of law. See what court will say. Court will say this type of contract is a social contract. This type of offer is a social offer, and social offer are not capable of creating which relationship? Legal relationship. Are you getting it? So this type of offer are social offer, and social offer are not real offer in eyes of law. In as far as law is concerned, this is not an offer, because try to concentrate, this type of offer creates a social relationship and it does not create legal relationship. What is the second point? Offer should be capable of creating legal relationship. Number 3, it should be with a view of obtaining consent. This portion I have taken from definition. So we have understood at the time of definition, will you purchase my car at the rate of rupees 4 lakhs is an offer. You purchase my car at the rate of rupees 4 lakh is not an offer. The offer should be with a view of obtaining assent or consent. Number 4, offer may be positive or negative. Try to understand negative not in the sense of actual negative. Try to concentrate what are positive type of offer. Will you purchase my car at the rate of rupees 4 lakh? This is a positive offer. Negative offer. If you don't open provision store next to my shop, I will give you 2 lakhs rupees. Do you agree? Now, here what you need to do? You don't need to do anything. You don't need to open a provision store. So practically you are not doing anything. This type of offer is negative offer. Try to concentrate. Not doing something can also be offer. Is it all right? This is, it may be positive, it may be negative. Next is well, it should be definite, certain, and not vague. Try to concentrate. Vague is confusing. So it should be vague or not vague? It should not be vague. Try to concentrate. I am giving you an offer which is defined, not definite, not certain, and it is a vague offer, and so it is not regarded as offer. How the offer should be? It should be definite, certain, and not vague. What does this mean? Try to concentrate. I am dealer of 100 types of oil. One of the student, Bhakti, comes to me and say, sir, she is giving me offer. Will you sell me 100 liters of oil? Bhakti is giving me offer. She thinks she is giving me offer. Believe me, this is not an offer. This is not offer. Why? It is not definite and certain. Why? Which oil? Is it written? No. What price? Is it written? No. Then this offer is not definite and certain. And this offer is confusing. This offer is not certain and it is confusing. And it should be confusing or it should not be confusing. It should not be confusing. So, offer should be definite, certain, and not vague. This is fifth point of rules of offer. Sixth one, very interesting. What could be a good offer over here for Bhakti? I'll tell you. If Bhakti says, sir, will you sell me 100 liters of almond oil at the rate of rupees 150 per liter? This offer could be definite, certain, and not confusing. Everything should be absolutely clear in the offer. There should not be any confusion. Quantity should be specified, item should be specified, and rate should be specified. The offer is definite, certain, and not vague. Number 6. Offer should be communicated. Offer should be communicated. One of the most important part, try to concentrate. We normally take this example to just explain one point, and it is some 5-10 minutes example. Offer should be communicated to offeree. Try to concentrate. I will be taking some of your doubts from the chat. Say, let me take 2 names from class. Dhruvi and Pooja. Dhruvi is owner of a dog. And this dog is lost. All right. Dhruvi gives offer in newspaper. And believe me, this is a legal offer. This is not a social offer. Dhruvi gives offer in newspaper and it is offer. And the offer is given today, 25/5/2021. Anyone who find dog of Dhruvi, she has also given picture of the dog. She will be giving 50,000 rupees. So you might have seen this type of advertisement in newspaper that if anyone finds this particular thing, they will be rewarded by this much money. Now here everything is specified. Any person who brings in the dog and he or she will be rewarded with 50,000 rupees. Pooja was ignorant about this offer. So she was not knowing about this offer. Pooja was knowing about this offer or not? Pooja normally does not read newspaper. We are just assuming. Huh? And she was not knowing about this offer. But Pooja found the dog on 26/5/2021. Pooja went to Dhruvi and gave this dog back. Dhruvi was very happy. She didn't utter a single word about this 50,000 rupees. Dhruvi didn't give 50,000 rupees. Pooja was not knowing that she is going to get 50,000 rupees because she was not knowing about this offer. She was ignorant about the offer. So this is a situation. And which is today's date? Today's date is 25/5 when the advertisement was given and the dog was returned back to Dhruvi on 26/5. On 29/2021, Pooja got knowledge of this offer. Let us make it more dramatic. Pooja was eating vada pav in newspaper, and in that newspaper she saw that offer. And now Pooja feels that she has missed the chance because she could have earned 50,000 rupees by returning the dog. But now Pooja wants 50,000 rupees. And Pooja goes into court of law. Pooja goes into court of law. Try to concentrate what Pooja is arguing in court of law. This is court of law. See what are her arguments. There was an offer. I returned back the dog, so there was an acceptance. And so it is a valid contract. Dhruvi has not paid me. This is what Pooja is arguing. And so Dhruvi should pay 50,000 rupees to me. Now Dhruvi is saying no in court of law also. See, what is Dhruvi's argument? To become a contract, there should be offer plus acceptance. So both are saying the same thing. But Dhruvi says offer. There was no offer. Why there was no offer? Because offer was not communicated. And in legal terms, if offer is not communicated, it is as good as there is no offer. So without an offer, there cannot be acceptance. Without an acceptance, there cannot be a contract. These are arguments of Dhruvi. Judge gave the judgment. Who won the case? Dhruvi won the case. And Pooja could not win the case because, as per the rules of offer given is not enough. It should be communicated before acceptance. Here it was accepted before or not, the answer is no. So let me ask to some of you students, can you become lawyer of Pooja and win case for Pooja? I can do it. If she argued in somewhat different manner, Pooja might have won the case. There is one question in the chat regarding this case. Let me solve it. Sir, how Pooja came to know that dog was of Dhruvi? Because Pooja came to know dog was of Dhruvi because she was her neighbor, say, in the example. She was knowing about it. But she was not knowing about the offer. Are you getting it? She is not ignorant about dog. She is ignorant about offer. Anyone who can win the case for Pooja? I can do it easily. Yes, I don't expect that you can do it easily, but still, some end. All right. So,
Sir,
yes, Asta.
if they give that ad of newspaper as proof,
If she gives ad of the newspaper as proof, all right, but that proof is already available. Dhruvi is not refusing that she has not given ad. She is saying that when the dog was returned, Pooja was not knowing about the offer. Offer was not communicated and hence it is not a valid offer. Because in paper it was written, so yes, paper it was written, but at the time of acceptance, when she returned back the dog, she was knowing about the offer, not knowing about the offer, not knowing about the offer. All right. So this is a case because Pooja before acceptance was not knowing the offer. This should be always sequence. First there should be offer which should be communicated and then there should be acceptance. It cannot be vice versa. In chat, if we say that she was ignorant about it, ignorance of law or ignorance of anything is not an excuse in court of law. You cannot go into court of law and say I was not knowing this, I was ignorant about it. That cannot be a case. All right. If I want to say you that, sir, ethically or legally who should win the case is Dhruvi, because really offer was not communicated. But still, if I am a lawyer of Pooja and Pooja is going to give me 25,000 rupees, I can do something which is not correct. I will tell to Pooja, you say in court of law that you have read the newspaper on 25th itself. But as Dhruvi was very happy on the day the dog was returned, so what Pooja is saying, she is saying something which is incorrect. She is saying she was knowing about the offer when the dog was returned. Now, who will know whether she was knowing or not? No one knows except Pooja. I have written it over here, but only Pooja knows that she has not read the newspaper. So if Pooja argues this, that on 25th 5, I got the dog, on 26th 5, I returned the dog. At that time, I was knowing about the offer, but I didn't ask for money because she is my neighbor or she is my friend or I was knowing her and she was very happy at that time. So I thought that let me ask for money after 1 or 2 days. So now, this cannot be proved. Who will be knowing that whether Pooja has read the newspaper or not? Judge cannot know. Lawyers cannot know. Who can know? Only Pooja can know. So Pooja can give this statement in court of law. But see, if Pooja speaks this in court of law, he was not knowing about the offer, then Dhruvi will definitely win the case. Sir, is Pooja not speaking something which is incorrect? The answer is yes. She will have to speak something which is incorrect to win the case if she wants to win the case. So this is how Pooja can win the case. I'm getting n numbers of answer. Let me also, as it was given in newspaper, but she has read it afterwards. Dhruvi should supposed to tell to Pooja, this is not correct. Dhruvi is not having any legal liability to repeat the offer. So Dhruvi, if the dog is written, there is no liability of Dhruvi to tell that, okay, take this 50,000 rupees. See, it is good to do it, but it is not legal. There is no legal liability that Dhruvi should be doing it. No, given in newspaper is not enough. Even if it is legal relationship, what we are learning, offer should be communicated. And Dhruvi can easily prove in court of law, offer is not communicated. If Pooja speaks by mistake or really what was happened, if she speaks that she was not knowing about the offer, she will lose this case. What was the point? Offer should be communicated. If offer is not communicated, it will not become a valid offer. Number 7. Offer may be conditional. All right. Try to concentrate again. A very important point in offer. Offer may be. So it is not compulsory, but if it is conditional, it is a valid offer. Try to concentrate over here. I will sell you 100 kgs of potatoes today at the rate of rupees 1000. This is a contract. There was offer, there was acceptance. This is a contract. But there is a condition. What is a condition? If it does not rain today, so or condition may be if it does not rain up to 8 p.m. Anything can be conditioned. So when this contract will become valid, we will be learning it after 8 p.m. and if it has not rained. If it rains, the contract will automatically get cancelled. But this is a condition which should be satisfied. So, is this type of offer or a contract a valid contract? The answer is yes. If this is in offer, can have condition. So what is the exact case? I has given offer to you, and what is the offer? Will you purchase 100 kgs of potatoes at the rate of rupees 1000 if it rains? If it does not rain up to 8. This is an offer? Yes. Is it a valid offer? The answer is yes. Offer should always be conditional? No. But offer may be conditional. If offer is conditional, it is absolutely all right. So 7th point, offer may be conditional. Is this a valid offer? The answer is yes. This is 8th. Offer may be specific or general. This we will be learning in types of offer. That will be next point. Next point will be types of offer. At that time we are going to learn offer may be specific or general. What are specific offer? What are general offer? Let me just verify. It must be communicated to offeree. Yes, last, which is 9th point. Offer is different from invitation to offer. So invitation or to offer is something different and offer is something different. Important question from examination perspective. Sometimes they ask short note on what is invitation to offer. Let me explain you in form of an example. I am going to Reliance Mall. All right. There is a jeans in Reliance Mall which is having an MRP of rupees 4,000. There is a jeans in Showcase having MRP of 4,000. I have gone to purchase it. I select that jeans and put it in the bag. They normally provide bag in showroom. So I put the jeans in bag and go for payment. Now, when I go to payment, the Reliance Mall says me, sorry sir, this jeans is not for sales. This jeans is of Mukesh Ambani personally. It was incorrectly kept in that showcase. Now we cannot sell this jeans. But now I am very rigid. As there was an offer, which I have accepted. I am ready to pay 4,000 rupees. I am not saying I will not pay 4,000 rupees. Instead, I am saying that now I will pay 4,500 rupees, but I want this jeans. There is a valid contract between I and Reliance Mall. There was an offer, there is an acceptance, there is consideration for each other, there is legality of object, everything is there. And so it is a valid contract. And so Reliance should give me that jeans and I need to pay them 4,000 rupees. All right. And they are not accepting my payment. They say, whatever you do, we are not going to do this. I went into court of law. As you please understand, practically I will not go into court of law for a jeans. But to understand the scenario, you need to concentrate on this. I go into court of law and argues this, that there was a jeans lying in the showcase which is an offer, then it was accepted. I am ready to give payment, but they are not giving me jeans, and there is a valid contract as per Indian Contract Act 1872, which is passed in Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, signed by President. It is act, so Reliance should also follow, I should also follow. I am ready to follow, but Reliance is not following it. Now Reliance made an argument. Try to concentrate. What Reliance made an argument is this. This is argument of Reliance. When the jeans was showcased at the rate of MRP rupees 4,000, it is not an offer. It is invitation to offer. We are inviting other person to give offer. It is not an offer. When I put the jeans into bag provided by Reliance, this is offer. So what I am giving the offer, you have put a tag of 4,000 rupees. Will you sell me this jeans at the rate of rupees 4,000? Yes, it is a symbolic offer. When the payment is made, it becomes acceptance. And so, putting jeans in showcase is invitation to offer, putting jeans in the bag is offer, and payment is acceptance. Believe me, court gave the judgment, Reliance is correct, and Reliance won the case. And now try to understand the concept of invitation to offer. Any goods lying in the showroom, you might feel Reliance is giving you offer. Actually, they are giving you invitation to offer. They are giving the invitation that by selecting, you give offer to Reliance. And when they accept the payment, then only it is an acceptance and the contract is made. So, security person cannot stop you. But if you have not made a payment, they can always reject the commodity. So at the time of payment, if they say we don't want to sell this was by mistake, they are absolutely all right, because jeans lying in showcase is invitation to offer. So very interesting, try to concentrate. When you go to Reliance Mall, actually you are giving offer to them and they are not giving offer to you. The goods which are displayed. So see, this point will be revised whenever you go to any mall, any shops. Anything which is displayed is invitation to offer. Shopkeeper can tell you don't touch it, it is not for sale. It is absolutely all right, because still there is no offer and acceptance. After payment, no shopkeeper can say that now we will not let you this goods to be purchased. So this cannot be done. So are you getting it? Anything lying in showroom is an invitation to offer. So I give you a say prospectus of Lakshya Academy. Foundation 35,000 rupees. This I am giving you a pamphlet. Is it an offer? No, it is invitation to offer. You might have heard sometimes about this quotation. See, I wanted to purchase one PC computer. I told to my computer vendor, computer dealer, that you send me quotation. What will be the configuration? What will be the price? You send me a quotation. That quotation is not offered by a dealer. It is invitation to offer. Advertisement in newspaper. Television at the rate of 35,000. This is how the advertisements are written, right? Not 35, but 30,000. You might feel this is an offer. They might have even written this word over here, offer. But it is not an offer. It is invitation to offer. All right. So the wordings, offer is different from invitation to offer. Offer creates acceptance. Invitation to offer creates offer. So after invitation to offer, there will be offer and then there will be acceptance. If it was offer, then it can be directly acceptance. All right. So offer is different from invitation to offer. Don't confuse invitation to offer with offer. And these are 8 rules of making a good offer. Let us revise all 8. Minimum 2 parties, Offer should be capable of creating legal relationship with a view of obtaining asset. It may be positive, negative. It may be definite. It should be definite, certain, and not vague. Offer should be communicated, and offer may be conditional. Offer may be specific or general. Offer is different from invitation to offer. These are nothing but rules of offer. Let me go for questions and answers if you are having any. Any doubts? Any questions up till now? So as you know, summary of these rules will be done in next lecture also. We normally start next lecture by revising of all the lectures. So you will be getting this on one page if you want to write it down. And if you are writing down along with me, it is nice. There are two questions. Vague. Vague means confusing. Vandan is asking, sir, please explain difference between offer and invitation to offer. Try to concentrate. Any legal thing which is creating an atmosphere of acceptance will be offered. Any legal thing which creates atmosphere of invitation to offer will be invitation to offer. Only commercial offer is capable to become an offer. The answer is no. It is not commercial. Try to concentrate. It is not so that only, let me take a new page, that only commercial offer is an offer. No. Social offer, commercial offer is an offer, normally yes. Social offer is not an offer. But sometimes say personal offer might be an offer. I am having this pen, a different type of pen. I am asking you, will you purchase this pen? The answer is yes. Then it is no. It is practically a personal offer. Now you will say, sir, there is a sale of pen, so it is commercial. But if in this sense you are saying commercial, then yes, commercial offers are only offers, because ultimately is related to benefit of both the persons. But as we go ahead, as we go to consideration, you will understand I promising my wife to give necklace is also a valid offer. Now how you will justify commercial in it? It should not be social. What is social? Birthday party, anniversary parties, and get-togethers and kitty parties, and this all are social offers. All right. Please repeat point number 6. Offer should be communicated. All right. See, let me put it in very simple words. I am giving you offer and now I don't want to perform the contract. You have accepted it, it becomes a valid contract, it has become a contract. If I can prove that this offer was not communicated, believe me, I can prove there is no contract. But I'll have to prove. In example which I have given, Pooja was saying I have not read the newspaper. So offer was not communicated. And offer should be communicated before acceptance. It cannot be after acceptance. Offer should be communicated before acceptance. Are you getting it? It cannot be after acceptance. See, in this class of 30 students, I am telling you that if you join my foundation classes, on last day, I will be giving you 5,000 rupees discount. So you all are present. You all have heard the offer. The offer is communicated to you. But say one student, say Rahul, is not present in this meeting. So Rahul was knowing about the offer? No. He joined the class. So he has accepted the offer. Was he knowing about the offer? No. Then offer was not communicated before acceptance. If Rahul says what is true in court of law, if Rahul says I was not knowing the offer at the time when I joined the class, then Rahul will not be getting 5,000 rupees discount. Why? There is no legal contract between me and Rahul because offer was not communicated. This is repetition of point number 6.